Thank you very much. On the agenda approval, I have to add vehicle purchase under my name. Also, the request from Kiwanis Clam Bake to utilize Kiwanis Park, that'll be under my name. And also, we're going to need to go into executive session with no action taken in regards to 1, consult with the attorneys, 2, ongoing litigation, various Article 7 tax assessment cases, and then collective bargaining negotiations.
I'd like to add cable update and senior proclamation.
Make a motion to amend, to approve the amended agenda.
Second.
A motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Abstract, Councilman Guyton.
I move to approve the regular abstract of claims number 1,058 to 1,268 and recommend payment of the amount of $329,671.93, plus the post audit of $188,383.22. That's the motion.
Second.
A motion and second, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of the minutes from our April 25th.
Move for approval of the public hearing of April 25th and the board meeting of the same day.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. One abstention. One abstention. Department head concern.
Abstain, I'm sorry.
Backs.
Thank you. Yes.
So, department head concerns. Captain, anything? Nothing? Tim?
No.
Jackie, you're on the agenda. Jeff Ritter?
Yes, Attorney Tom Seaman's going to speak on a sole source resolution for a valve that the WPCC needs to purchase per the letter that I sent to the board. I would like to just say that the treatment plant lost one of its key operational components last month in a way of an underground valve that has an electronic motor on the top of it. This 20-year-old valve is used to divert water to our overflow basins in times of elevated flows coming into the plant. When the existing valve failed during routine flushing, I thought we could replace it. When we got around to it, we were looking to find some updated alternatives and shop around. We plan to incorporate this maybe in our main panel project that we have slated after our dewatering machine is installed. And then when we got the rain, we had to deal with over an inch of precipitation and realized that our manual valve was a nightmare. So we had to divert a lot of water into our parking lot. We had to call the DEC and tell them that we couldn't divert the water because we didn't have this valve. So we looked into some other different types of valves for replacement, and we noticed that the less expensive valves varied in size, and since we had to dig down into the ground about 15 feet deep, set up some shoring, heavy equipment, we really didn't want to customize any 16-inch pipe. So we decided that we would like to replace in kind, and in doing so, we found out that there's just a sole source for this valve. So I would like the board to approve the purchase of a Zurich valve and an operator from a sole source tech sales in the amount of $32,175, funds to be taken from H32.
Tom, you had a chance to look this over?
Yeah, I did. I had a chance to look it over. What Jeff's asking the board to do is essentially pass a resolution that declares that in fact that entity is the sole provider of such valve. I have looked it over. I've prepared a resolution for the board that would enact for that and allow for Jeff to sign off on that purchase. That tech Tech Sales Inc. appears to be the only provider within the entire state and most of New Jersey even. So I've set forward, based on Jeff's letter that he's essentially just outlined for you, I've set forward the facts that would allow for the board to make a resolution that would allow for that. And essentially what it does is it allows for a purchase that's outside of the general municipal law, section 103, that would normally require closed bids, but in the event of a sole source, where there's only one place where you can get such a valve, there's obviously no reason to do closed bids. That's essentially what the resolution before you does.
Okay.
I think we can move right ahead with it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll make that motion.
Move to approve the resolution as presented by Mr. Seaman.
Question?
Let's get a second. Second, motion, second. Go ahead, question?
My understanding is that if you went with a different valve, there'd be a whole lot of other things that would come up. More excavating, replacement of fittings.
We may have to customize 16-inch pipe. We don't even know if the bolt patterns are gonna be the same. Okay, so this comes as a one piece. It's pretty big, as you can see by some of the pictures.
Yeah, I just want this into the record, you know,
Yeah,
in case the press is listening, because you're not just throwing away money.
no, this is,
It's something that's
Replacing
pretty
kind.
urgently needed, right?
yes.
And Jackie, the funding's there,
It is, it's available, page 3, 2 years.
that's all I got.
Anybody else have any questions?
Do you want any part of it read or just going to accept?
Do we need to read the resolution or just as presented?
You should probably read it, I would think.
Okay. So we have a motion, whereas the Town of Lewiston Water Pollution Control Center recently lost the use of an underground valve with electric actuator manufactured by Desert, which is a key operational component of the plant and is used to divert water overflows to the overflow basin. And whereas the Town of Lewiston and the WPCC would like to replace said valve and actuator, and whereas the replacement of said valve and actuator will require underground excavation to approximately 15 feet, the shoring of the trench, and the use of heavy equipment. And whereas the chief operator for the WPCC has investigated the valves and actuators available on the market and has determined that the only directly compatible valve and actuator available is the direct replacement manufactured by Desert, and the chief operator has also determined that the other valves and actuators available vary in size and assembly configurations and would necessitate custom modifications to connect to the WPCC system. Said modifications would result in additional unknown time, materials, costs, and heightened risks to the WPCC employees. And whereas Tech Sales Incorporated, located in Rochester, New York, has provided information to the chief operator of the WPCC indicating that Tech Sales Incorporated is the exclusive supplier of Desert products in the state of New York. And whereas Tech Sales Incorporated has supplied a quote for the sale of the replacement valve and actuator for a total amount of $32,175. And now therefore be it resolved that Tech Sales Incorporated is found to be the sole source of the Desert valve and actuator which is needed to repair the WCPP system, and such constitutes an exception to the bid requirement of General Municipal Law 103. And be it further resolved, the chief operator of the WPCC is authorized to purchase the valve and actuator from Tech Sales Incorporated for the amount of $32,175 without the need to advertise for sealed bids. That's the motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
You made me work for that one.
Tom did.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Bob, Lannon?
Yeah, just the one thing I wanted to bring up in front of the board for consideration is, as you are aware, we took some bids for the police and parks building not too long ago. They came in over the amount we had budgeted. So what I would like to offer to the board is to redo those bid specs and drawings just a little bit. Maybe take economy of scale with the potential project that the Naira County Tower is going to be put in there, and then repackage it and re-advertise for bids to try to bring it in at a lesser price. So if that's okay with the board, I ask for authorization to advertise.
I'll make the
So,
motion.
Motion second. Any questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Good to go? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Tom, I think you got a couple things on here, so we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Dave Train?
Nothing.
Nothing? Any snow to plow, anything?
Just rain.
Yeah,
Micro paving's being held up probably till Wednesday,
okay. That's wishful thinking, right?
hopefully.
Mike Dashinell, anything?
Same issues, rain holding up everything.
Yeah, okay. And Jeanette, you're on the, you want to take care of that now?
Jeanette, what?
We
Needs
had,
to leave.
Okay, so go ahead.
we had a meeting, Mr. Guyvan and myself,
Jeanette, you
my
gotta come up to the
building.
mic. and
I'm too short for that.
Maybe it'll fix it.
We had a meeting at my building a while back, Bill, and, why are you doing this to me?
Come on, get in there and speak up now. Come on,
Yeah.
don't being so shy.
It's on.
It's on.
Okay, we had a meeting. What am I doing?
There's some-
Anyway, I'm asking the board to please consider abolishing the senior advisory board. The last time we actually met was in March of 2016. Steve, I believe you were there with Bastaretto. We had a meet and greet, and we have had no reason to continue to do it, so I'm wondering if you would consider abolishing that certain committee, the board.
And that's what I would like to have, is the board consider that, and then next meeting, move ahead. And when, while Jeanette is still standing, the Lewiston Seniors Club is totally independent. So if you read through the minutes, you see the total club, that's independent. And if you read through the minutes or look at it, you see the Lewiston, Town of Lewiston Seniors Incorporated. That's another separate entity, and that really does not have anything to do with us, because it was filed as a separate body in New York State. And if by any chance somebody wants to dissolve that, they have to have Margaret Conway to sign off, or to have to go through an attorney to do it in a different way. But there's three things. One is the advisory board, we would like to move to have that abolished.
Yeah,
The senior club is independent, all by itself,
absolutely.
and the seniors
They incorporated.
incorporated is
I have no idea.
a
what
separate
that is.
corporation that was created for the sole purpose of getting funding for a grant in 1979. And there was some money coming and going on that interest and whatever. And last year, the year before, the account was cleaned out, it's zero. So that's where we are. And so I was hoping that Paulette was going to be here tonight to confirm what Jeanette and I had basically come to understand.
The incorporation thing, I have no idea. I was working at more than this one, so.
Okay.
So that's yours. Just the senior advisory board, I don't think it's necessary. So if you would be kind enough to try, maybe approve that.
On that note, the liaison would be able to bring any issue to the board, and the director of the seniors has full access to come to any board member and ask for something. So that advisory board seems to be unnecessary, and if we're gonna streamline government, there's a good place to
I
start.
think they put it in place when they actually put the addition on the building, when Betty Zuko was the director at the time, when they added on to the building, and I think they formed that little committee to go back and forth with it, but it's just, I don't think it's necessary, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeanette.
Thank you.
Is Jeanette here for their senior proclamation?
Oh, yes, can we do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jeanette DeMille is supposed to be here for this. I don't know who determined it's Older Americans Month.
I believe that's what it's
I
called.
like it, sure. Americans Month, May 2019. Whereas seniors in the United States lend to the success of our country in many ways by sharing their knowledge, talents, and abilities that not only benefit their well-being, but all the citizens of our great nation. And whereas the town of Lewiston is proud of our senior citizens, Lewiston is a better place to live, work, and enjoy because of their constant enthusiasm and energy. And whereas seniors in Lewiston continue to reach out to all Lewiston residents, young and old, who wish to share in their programs and activities on a daily basis. Now therefore, let it be known, recognizing the aforesaid and as an expression of pride and gratitude in its senior residents, the town, Lewiston Town Board proclaims month of May 2019 as Older Americans Month in Lewiston, New York, signed by all members of the board. And we will read that again tomorrow at noon,
About 12:30.
12:30, and any members of the board would like to stop by, about 12:30. Donna will be there earlier serving.
And Jeanette, I'll be there, I know I didn't RSVP, I'll be there,
That's
but
okay.
I'm not
glad-
eating, so you don't have to
I
worry
was
about
hoping
it.
you were coming. We're honoring, every year we honor anybody that's turning 80 that belongs to the club, or 90. So that's, you've been there a couple times,
Yeah.
so that's our big birthday party tomorrow. And I believe you guys are going to do the proclamation around 12:30.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jeanette provides us with information of all the programs for the whole month, and it's on the town website, so people who are out there want to know all the great things that are
Anybody.
going on at the senior center, it's available. What's the age limit, 50 to come?
Is there an age limit?
Yeah, 50. No, you're good.
You're good, you made it.
It's-
You got it covered.
You made it. You're eligible. It's a
Friend of
public
mine-
building, you're all invited.
A friend of mine went through the Tim Hortons drive-through and asked what the age was for the senior citizens discount,
Uh-huh.
and they said, anybody who asks for it, we just give it to them.
How cute. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think that takes care of department head concerns. Finance, Jackie.
I have 3 budget revisions for the board that I'm asking for approval tonight. The first one is in the 3 sewer departments, SS1, SS2, and SS3. This is requesting to move a total of $410. I've established a disability account, and I'm moving money from the contractuals in SS1, SS2, and SS3 to the new disability account to properly account for disability insurance. The first one in SS1 was for $325 even. In SS2, it's for $55, and in SS3, it's for $30, and this will cover the disability insurance payment for the year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
The second revision is in the master sewer department, SS2, and this is requested to move $10,000 to the sanitary sewer equipment budget from the sanitary sewer contractual budget. This is to cover a current deficit and to cover future equipment purchases throughout the fiscal year.
So moved.
Second?
Motion is second, any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
The last revision is in the water department, and this revision is requested to move $26,613 to the water transmission and distribution equipment budget from the water miscellaneous revenue budget to cover the approved purchase of the pickup truck funded from the DASNY grant.
So moved. Second?
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I also just wanted to give you a quick update on our Troy and Banks utility and communications audit that was approved back in December. Excuse me. The utility audit is complete and no overcharges were located. The telecommunications audit is complete and they located a total of $706.80 overages per year. Their fee is 24% of that, so we will be paying them $169.63.
And the rest is ours.
Yes, it'll be in savings. The cable franchise audit is still ongoing, and I'll update you once that's complete.
Thank you.
Old business, outfall building report. Elena?
Yes, we did receive a report from Sienna. The report focused on two components. One is the asbestos containing material, and the roof, it has 2 layers of asphalt shingles on it, both of which came back with asbestos containing material, along with some of the tar that was used to patch up one of the penetrations, and there was lead on some of the window glazing. So it is kind of what we expected given the age of the building. The construction of that is certainly not traditional. It has gypsum decking, which spans 6 to maybe 7 feet, so it's not like you're 16 inches on center, so you can't just take it off and put plywood there. The recommendations that we have gotten from some of the roofing contractors we work with is a complete tear down, shingles, all of which has to be abated before you can do anything else for the asbestos, and then take the old gyp board off, put metal decking down, then essentially plywood or OSB down to serve as a nailing base for the new shingles. So with the asbestos abatement, the new roof, the new construction, along with new windows and stuff, you could be looking at $400,000 to $500,000 in updates. We're still waiting back on some of the abatement costs for the asbestos, but it's going to be significant. It's going to be an expensive undertaking for sure. So.
How much do blue tarps cost?
Blue tarps are less expensive, but certainly not permanent. So. But yeah, it is, given the vintage, both layers of roof, it's just in a very poor condition, which I'm sure you're all.
But let's assume we decided to tear the building down. We still have an awful lot of asbestos to dispose of.
Yeah.
That's a great building to try to preserve.
Yeah, the fact that there's asbestos there is now that we know it in advance, is good. The only thing is you have to do with asbestos-containing material is abate that first, and then do the rest of your construction. So if you're gonna demolish it, you have to abate the asbestos and demolish it. If you're gonna re-roof it, abate the asbestos and then put the new roof on. So the fact that we know it, certainly we need to do that. That's our first step in whatever project the board wishes to continue.
And unfortunately, something needs to be done one way or another. We just can't leave that building in that condition. Obviously, Jeff will attest that we need to, the guts of the building needs to stay from the floor down, the sewer outfall. So we just need to make a decision. I guess Bob needs to get us a price, and we're going to have to make a decision at that point on what we're going to do down there. So,
Is that a pitched roof on there now? Is it pitched or?
yeah.
What's your firm, any alternatives?
You mean,
I know
As far as the
we have
roof
to
goes?
abate the asbestos, but it seems like, with my building, I would tear the gypsum off and I'd add, some rafters in between that with plywood.
that could be another option. That would take the place of the metal decking.
Yes.
So if but then you would save on the metal decking, but then you'd have to put the new rafters in.
Yeah,
So it,
6 of one, half a dozen another.
I think if you want the metal decking spanning, because you have a much larger span than you would in a traditional residential structure, so I think that it's probably the less expensive, but the less of the evil would be just the metal decking to span that 6 or 7 feet in length, or width rather than the 16-inch center.
How about a metal roof, is that an option?
That would be more, it is an option, yes, but I think that is more expensive.
Okay.
But it'll last you
But you got
100 years.
out.
Yeah, I mean, that is like set it and forget it, but that's more, it would be more expensive.
Okay.
If you like, I can put an estimate together for the metal roof, but that
I
would
think
be
we
more
gotta
expensive.
go for the least expensive,
Yeah.
I mean, within reason. I guess the blue tarp stuff.
You probably need the blue tarp now.
Thanks, Bob.
Sure.
Senior Advisory Board, that's what you just came up with, yes. Dwyer Arena, NU LED sign, we would get out of lead. LED sign,
Yeah, this was an issue that was brought up the last board meeting, and we tabled it at that time while I had an opportunity to speak with counsel from Niagara University. But essentially, Niagara University has a sign in front of Dwyer Arena that they're wishing to change from a typical sign to an LED lighted sign. And when they tried to go through the process of getting their building permits to do that, Mr. Masters advised them that that sign may in fact not be on Niagara University's property, which resulted in some meetings that Supervisor Broderick was at, and some thought process as to how to remedy that situation. One of the ideas that was proposed, and for which I've drafted a resolution if the board is interested in proceeding in this direction, would be to essentially lease that small portion of land that the sign is already sitting on to Niagara University, so that they would have some ownership control over that portion of land, and then they could move forward with their building application, and it would fall in line legally with the way that it should be. But as of right now, they have a sign that's appears to be on town's land, so this would just be a legal mechanism. I've drafted a resolution that would essentially allow for Niagara University to lease that tiny area of land, but they would have to, in consideration, what they would have to do for the town is maintain that area of land and also defend and indemnify and insure the town against any type of issues that might pop up or arise during the construction of that sign and/or the maintenance of that area as time moves forward. So there's a resolution that I circulated prior to the last board meeting that I'm not sure if you.
Is the land worth about $500,000? Take care of our roof. Just kidding.
Enough of my own rough feelings of ours. The land is frankly likely worth nothing to anyone other than your university, to answer the question dryly, but honestly.
And also, just to point out, there's a sign there already that has been there for years and years and years, I think since the arena opened, that's basically in the same exact location that
Right.
really wasn't addressed. So this is addressing a situation that was kind of overlooked before, so.
So what you have in front of you today would be if someone wanted to make the motion to approve this resolution, the resolution is contingent on the then signing of a lease, as long as attorney approval of the lease. But the lease would mirror the resolution in many ways in terms of what I just described with defense indemnification, hold harmless clauses, and the need for Niagara to maintain that small piece
So
of
this
property.
resolution that you gave us doesn't say everything that you just included. So this basically resolves that the town can enter an agreement subject to your approval, and the supervisor signs it.
Correct.
So move.
Second.
Oh,
Motion and a second.
what's the price value of this?
Well, I think it's a maintenance value is what he's
It's the
talking
maintenance, so the consideration would be, because the small portion of land has really no intrinsic value to anyone other than Niagara University, the consideration is the maintenance of that area. There's also a provision in the resolution that if it does come a time when the town determines that land is valuable to the town, that they can cancel the resolution and their release at any given moment.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Recreation purchase of a wood chipper. Councilman Moreno.
Yeah, that's gonna be tabled for tonight.
Okay. Okay, moving on from old business. This is where I'm going to slip in a vehicle purchase. We have at the building inspector's office, or actually, the building inspector's office and the town assessor, we have two vehicles that we lease. That after talking with our attorneys, they advised that this would be the perfect use of our H-98 account. So we called up, Jackie called, and we have two payoffs, $20,322.48. That's valid until the 18th of this month. And I'd like to make a motion to purchase both of those vehicles. They are a 2018 Honda Clarity, last six of the serial 013391 and 013396, and that would be, like I said, the amount of $20,000, $322.48 each.
I'll second that motion.
Motion is second. Any
Will you
questions?
clarify which account that?
H-98. Correct, Jackie?
That's correct.
H-98. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Let's see here. Kiwanis Clam Bake. We have a request from the Kiwanians to, basically a landlord authorization form to allow them to use the Kiwanis Park for their annual Kiwanis Clam Bake on June 5th, 940 Oxford Lane. And what I would like is a motion to approve it based on attorney approval with insurance validation.
Second.
All in favor?
Brief discussion.
Discussion?
This is the situation where we have to have them bring in the portable bathrooms?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
That's part of the agreement?
No, they just do that anyways.
Because what we have there will not handle a crowd.
Right. Right, they
As long
bring it
as
in.
as long as they know that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second? All in favor?
Aye. And that's the first Wednesday of June.
First Wednesday of June. It'll be sunny and warm that day. Oh.
Here it is, because
I don't know if it's a fundraiser or just an event they put on. I couldn't answer that.
It's a fundraiser.
It is?
It's one of the major fundraisers.
Is it? Okay. Present the 2019 stormwater report. Chris McAuliffe is not here,
He's in Virginia.
so table it for now.
It's just letting you know that the report is done. It's in the clerk's office for inspection for anybody who wants to inspect it.
Okay. So we don't have to make any motions or anything on it?
You might have to at some point in time accept it as approval, but I think it was just to let you know that it was done. It's been filed. It's available for public view.
Okay.
Just add it to the minutes that it is on file and it's available for review.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Guyman, cable update.
All right. The cable agreement has been signed by the town of Lewiston and by Niagara County Community College. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, the principal participants of this cable videotaping and everything will be meeting here at 3 p.m. in this room right here. If anybody's interested in stopping by, we'll be here. Carol, I'm assuming the room is open tomorrow at 3. So it's just, we're moving ahead. What we want to do is make sure that the last bit of equipment that we purchased is as compatible as possible with what Niagara County Community College has.
Okay, great, thank you. Declare Matt Plotter excess equipment. This is from, never mind. This is from Donna Garfinkel. Request the town board declare the Hewlett-Packard Design Jet 1055 CM serial number S as in Sam, G as in George, 9901311, K as in King, Matt Plotter as excess and place on Auctions International. This is an old printer plotter and has since been replaced. The new plotter is located in the basement office of the past assistant engineer.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Tower antenna application, Mount St. Mary's Hospital. Everybody has this in front of them. So we have a situation here where everybody has reviewed the tower application. Everybody has put in their 2 cents on the tower application, and it should go to our tower committee. However, our tower committee was unable to get together and to have a quorum, and Mr. Conrad informed us that he was unable to get them together to schedule it, and he said the tower committee would not be looking at this application. That presents us with a minor problem, that there are some unanswered questions that we as a town board, I believe, can answer those questions. So everybody's got the application in front of them, and we do have some questions. Should we go over each page individually and address each question?